Venu Rajamony, the charismatic face of Indian diplomacy. Venu Rajamony is the emerging face of India's public diplomacy. He is currently the Minister for Press, Information and Culture at the Indian Embassy in Washington, D.C. Indian government recognized his unique leadership skills by promoting him as the Consul General in Dubai. Mr. Rajamony brought a new perspective and dimension to the public diplomacy efforts of the Indian Embassy through outstanding leadership combined with deep interest in Indian culture and heritage. Mr. Rajamony has been very instrumental in organizing, facilitating and showcasing the soft power of India to the mainstream US. Venu's unique efforts to propagate the past, the present and the future of India to the US mainstream is commendable.
Tell me, what are you spreading?
Well, Ramesh, I think what we try and convey to the people of the United States is the story of India. And the story of India is not, it is beauty. Certainly, that is a very big part of it. But much more than that, it is democracy. It is secularism. It is millions of people who belong to different faiths, who belong to different communities, who speak different languages, and how they have forged a common destiny together, how they are in the process of building a new future. So it is the story of India's history, it is the story of India's present, and the story of India's future. It is this that we try to take to the American public at large, and this is one of the functions of the embassy.
India Review magazine. The initiative by Ambassador Ronan Sen reached new heights under Venu's leadership. Venu has always been a close friend of Malayali community. Venu's effort brought the Kerala community closer to the embassy and its mission to propagate rich Indian cultural values to the US mainstream. Born in Thiruvananthapuram, Venu had his education in Maharajas College Ernakulam, Ernakulam Law College and Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi. One thing Venu likes to forget is his 7-day visit to Tihar jail. Of course, it was not voluntary. Venu's tenure at the Indian Express as the staff correspondent was eventful. Apart from reporting for the newspaper, Venu had frequent visits to the court. Venu was the topper of the 1986 batch of the Indian Foreign Service. Mr. Rajamony is one of the eloquent public speakers.
It is the largest democracy in the world. It has institutionalized rule of law and human rights. It is the second fastest growing economy in the world. 54% of our population is below the age of 25. There is great confidence and hope in the youth of India today. India is widely recognized across the world as an IT power, as a country which has made great achievements in science and technology. The Indians who live abroad, the Indian American community in particular, have done such wonders through their hard work and through their contribution to the society here, that they are the pride of India and they are the pride of the United States. The Prime Minister of India was recently invited to attend the G8 meeting, which is one of the highest councils of the world. It is widely recognized that India is a deserving country to hold a permanent seat in the UN Security Council. In India, Mr. Shashi Tharoor is candidate to be UN Secretary General. In the last 4 or 5 months, almost every leading magazine, news journal in this country, The Time, the Newsweek from England, the Economist from England, the Foreign Affairs Journal, has had India on its cover and has been talking about the rise of India.
Mr. Rajamony has a rich professional experience. He has served 9 years in China and is a fluent speaker of Chinese language. Winning a Chinese language competition was an easy walk for this classic diplomat. Venu served at the Indian mission to the UN in Geneva as the principal officer responsible for human rights and humanitarian matters. Among other achievements, the notable one is a selection as Asia Foundation Fellow at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, Washington in 2001-2002.
I know Venu, Rajamony, we call him Venu. I believe that since 1975 or 76. Later, I met Venu at the Maharaja's College at Nagulam, where he joined as a pre-degree student. He was one of the very bright students, and at the same time he was a student activist and student union leader. He became the chairman of Maharaja's College Student Union, a very courageous, dedicated. He was very, very committed in the sense that nobody could dissuade him from his movement. If he wanted to go ahead, yes, he was there in the front. And even if there were some very serious obstacles, he did not care. But unfortunately, I would say he was not that much keen, in selecting a political role as his, major role in life. So he turned to journalism, and finally he ended up in the civil service. From Maharaja's College, he went to Jawaharlal Nehru University, and he was a very successful student union leader there. And then he came back to Cochin as a reporter of Indian Express, and he was one of the smartest and very, very efficient reporters of Indian Express in Cochin at that time. One of the stories that I still remember is that there was an incident, an allegation against one of the sitting High Court judges and the then Chief Minister. And actually Venu was the first reporter who broke the story. And I personally know there were a lot of pressures on Venu to stop reporting on that story. But he withstood everything. And, in that way, he showed that, yes, he's a man of integrity and nobody can buy him. One of our common friends told me that, okay, so he's posted in Hong Kong. And, I read some news items about him. But there was a huge gap. Then all of a sudden, from Washington, I got a call, maybe last year, from Venu that yes, he is here. So it was a real coincidence, and I was really happy that, after a reasonable, several years of gap. Of course, in the meantime, I was also following, not directly, his career through some of my friends in the Indian Forest Services. And so they say that, okay, he's one of the best officers in the IFS. He's such a nice person, nice individual. So that makes him different, and that is one of the qualities, all his friends remain his friends forever.
Leaders are made, not born. Mr. Rajamony will be leaving Washington, D.C. on January 20th to take up his new responsibility in Dubai. Let's pray and hope that Venu returns to D.C. in a larger capacity to guide, unite, and lead Malayali community in this area. We wish him well.